All right, the futures industry talking about the Corzine rule. This is all a reaction to what happened over at MF Global. You know all about that, but let's talk about something new, possibly. Aaron Lucchetti here with some details. Here's my first question. When I saw the story, my first thought was, weren't there already rules about dipping into customer money for these guys?
Well, there were
Isn't
rules.
that why they got in trouble in the first place?
Well, they're in some trouble. They're not in any kind of trouble that's put them in front of a civil charge or a criminal charge yet. The investigations are ongoing, so it's unclear.
They're bankrupt.
Yeah.
And we're talking about MF Global here, obviously.
Right.
Let's be clear about that.
Right.
Bankrupt, as you pointed out. There was a lot of questions about where the customer money was, and now the industry and the regulators trying to come up with some new rules to prevent this customer money from disappearing. Right?
Look, when something like this happens, clearly the rules were broken, there were problems, there were things that happened that went against the rules, but regulators are coming in also and saying, well, let's make the rules tougher, let's make the rules better. Some people say this Corzine rule, which is a very gimmicky name, very kind of catchy name that people can remember. It basically boils down to, if you're going to make a big move of customer money, which you can do in the futures industry, there's a line you can't cross, but if you get anywhere close to that line, the top people need to know, the CEO, the CFO, the principals of the firm. This is really a reaction to the congressional testimony we saw in December when Corzine and the CFO of MF Global and a couple of other folks came up in front of Congress and said, we didn't realize that it was a deficit. We only knew that after the fact, after it was too late. The horse was already out of the barn. So these regulators say, well, that shouldn't happen. The top people should be aware of what's going on when there's big transfers in a situation like that.
And Aaron, does anybody really care? We're talking about moving millionaires' monies around.
So basically, the futures industry deals with a lot of millionaires, but also deals with a lot of farmers and ranchers and folks in the commodities businesses.
Yeah,
so
that's important.
you have people who are not trusting these markets anymore because of what happened with MF Global. Revco was a commodities firm that went belly up 4 or 5 years ago. Within a week or two, the CEO of that firm was doing a perp walk in front of a criminal trial. So that didn't happen in this case, and so what customers are saying is, we're not really sure what happened, but we're not very confident that it can't happen again. So regulators have their work cut out for them to make changes and restore confidence in this fairly big market.
How soon might we see this rule implemented?
This one could come more quickly. It could come this summer. The CFTC needs to approve it. The board of the National Futures Association, which is kind of like FINRA, it's an industry-funded regulator for futures, they have to approve it in May at their next board meeting. So it could come quickly. Bigger fixes like maybe an insurance fund for customers of futures markets or a different type of regulatory structure, that'll probably be debated for months and months and may not happen.
Are we going to see John Corzine doing a perp walk?
That's a big question. I mean, there's no imminent sign of that. I mean, that's something that people are looking at. The statute of limitations goes a long way out. He said he didn't know there was a problem and it was chaotic and that he relied on back office people. We'll see if that story holds up.
Muckraker Bob O'Brien.
I want to see John Corzine. I want to see Corzine in handcuffs.
What would you expect from an Eagles fan? Getting right to the heart of the matter.
Exactly right. All right, Aaron Lucchetti, thank you very much. Talk to you soon.